Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, الذي ألف بالإسلام بين قلوب المؤمنين وأوجب الاتحاد وحرم التفرق في كتابه المبين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله هدى من يشاء إلى صراط المستقيم، وأشهد أن سيدنا محمد رسول الله خير داع إلى طريق القويم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه الذين تحببت نفوسهم وتهبت قلوبهم فكانوا سادة المنصورين. أما بعد، فيا عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله تعالى وطاعته. That is, all praise is due to Allah, who has united the hearts of the believer in Islam and has made it an obligation to remain united, and has made it haram or forbidden to become separated in his clear book. I bear witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah, who guides to the straight path whom he wills. And I bear witness that the Prophet Muhammad is his messenger and the best caller to the way that is straight. O Allah, please send your prayers and your peace upon our leader Muhammad, and upon his family, and upon his companions, whose hearts were united and whose souls were educated so that they became victorious leaders. And though it follows after that, O believers of Allah, I advise you, as well as I advise myself, to first have the proper regard, the proper taqwa for Allah, and thereafter be obedient to him. Dear brothers and sisters, dear believers, I greet you with the universal greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Now here we are in this third part of the Army values. We started off with a full picture of leadership. And last week we talked about loyalty. And this week we're moving on to the next one, dear believers. We're moving on to the word duty. Duty is the next Army value that we'll look at. And with this Army value, we're going to look at the Prophet Noah, inshallah, God willing. So we know from the Army value of duty means to fulfill your obligations. And as Muslims, we know that's what we are commanded by our Creator to do, is to fulfill our obligations. And as Muslims, we have a variety of obligations. We must take the Shahada. We must make Salat. We must give in Zakat. We must fast during the month of Ramadan. And we must make the Hajj if possible. So we as Muslims, we can already relate. We already have this precedent, or this idea of duty within our life, within the way our religion is structured. However, today we're going to talk about the Prophet Noah, inshallah, or Nuh, as he is pronounced in Arabic. And so we all know the story of Noah. We know the story of him being commanded by his creator. Well, let's back up a little bit. We know from the Qur'an where it talks about Noah was amongst his people, and the people were so rebellious, and they were doing all these things, and Noah made a prayer and asked Allah to cleanse the earth of them all the disbelievers. And so Allah said he will, but he had to build an ark. Allah said that he had to build something. Had to build something that was going to hold him and the believers, something that was going to protect him and the believers from all the turmoil, all the rough waters on the outside. And so we know that God tasked him with building this stable place. God tasked him with building a stable place that was going to support him. Not only support him, it was going to keep him alive for a period of time. Allah says in the Quran, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, it was revealed to Noah, none of your people will believe except those who have believed already. So grieve no longer over their evil deeds, but construct an ark under our eyes and our inspiration, and address me no further on behalf of those who are in sin, for they are about to be overwhelmed with the flood. Now, brothers and sisters, what does that look like for us? What does that look like in our lives? What does this idea of duty look like in our lives, from a military context even? You know, sometimes we're given a mission. Sometimes we're given a task of something that we must complete that is good for the greater good. It's going to impact a lot of people. It's going to do something that's going to be beneficial for a lot of people. Maybe keep them stable, maybe keep them healthy, maybe keep them safe, maybe protect them from external forces. And so we're asked to complete these tasks. And like Noah, just like Noah, we have a duty to ourselves, and we also have a duty to complete the mission. You know, the Army looks at duty as fulfilling our obligations. And so maybe this obligation that we have is to others. And as we go through this period of fulfilling this duty or taking on this role, we're going to run into some that may not trust what we're looking to do. Maybe that they don't trust our plan. Maybe they don't trust the way that we're deciding that we're going to accomplish this mission. Maybe they're in the background working against us fulfilling this mission. So we can't look at this as some isolated thing where this has never happened before in life, that people weren't given missions or weren't given duties, and they did not have the full support of those that they were trying to help. But however, like Noah, we have to push aside this criticism. We have to push aside this criticism, not only from others, but sometimes the criticism from ourselves, the doubt that we have in ourselves that we cannot fulfill this duty because maybe we feel we're inadequate. Maybe we feel that we're not properly prepared to complete this mission or to fulfill this duty. Maybe someone is talking about us, saying that I'm better at doing this than they are. So give me this job. Give me this duty. Let me fulfill this because they're not quite as qualified as I am. But that duty wasn't given to them. That duty was given to you. That job was given to you. That mission was given to you. And it was given to you because you were uniquely equipped. You were uniquely equipped to fulfill it. You were uniquely equipped to complete this duty. So we can't let this criticism, we can't let the words, the thoughts of others, the thoughts of ourselves, the words of ourselves keep us from fulfilling our mission. And as we go forward to fulfill our mission, in that verse, Allah says, none of the people will believe except that those who have believed already. So the people who believed in you already, they're going to believe you can do it right now. The you inside of you that believes that you can do it, that believes that you have the ability, the skills to accomplish this mission or fulfill this duty, that's going to be what pushes you. So you have to have faith in God and confidence in your abilities and trust that you are uniquely qualified for the duty or for the mission that you are given. Brothers and sisters, let's not beat ourselves up. We have a duty. We have a mission to fulfill our obligations, whatever they may be, whatever they may look like. So we can't let the words of others distract us. We can't let the thoughts or insecurities of ourselves hold us back. We must fulfill our obligations. We must complete our duty. We must complete our mission. Brothers and sisters, it is inside of you. That ability to perform is inside of you, but you just have to have the confidence to bring it out. And just like Noah, when everyone was doubting him, and sometimes he doubted himself, and sometimes he doubted the command or the mission he was given, he fulfilled it. He drew on the faith in God. He drew on the confidence in his abilities, and he completed his mission. And what did he do? He saved his people. And we, as Muslims, we look at it as when the floods came, it wiped away humanity. So for Muslims, Adam is similar to Noah in the fact that mankind, in a way, came from him because all the evildoers were washed away. So have faith in your abilities and confidence in yourself, dear brothers and sisters, dear believers. Know that you are uniquely equipped to complete your mission, to fulfill your obligations, to complete your duties. أقول هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد وكما صليت آل إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت آل إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Dear brothers and sisters, we're getting straight to the point today. We're not going to stretch this out too long. I just want, we know that the Jummah, the Friday Khutbah is strictly a reminder. So I just want to remind you that as Muslims, we have to fulfill our obligations. We have to fulfill our duties. And so we looked at Noah as ourselves to the extent that we must push past criticisms and we must push past all these things to complete our duties. But now I want us to look at Noah as a concept, just like we did last week. We want to look at Noah as a concept or as a principle. And so we have to see, how do we see ourselves? How do we see ourselves inside of this Noah principle or this concept of duty? So we know from the story of Noah that after everything that went on, he created the ark. He built it. He built a giant ark, and we know that he was told to bring his family aboard. Allah said that he was going to spare his family. And Allah also told him to bring 2 kinds of each animals. And so he did that. And so as the waters begin to rise and as the rain began to come down, Noah was taking inventory of everything he had. And some of this is, some of my statements are just a little poetic license on telling this story. So it may not be an accurate account. I wasn't there. But so he's taking inventory. He's taking inventory of everything. He's looking at his family, he's counting the animals, and he realizes that outside of all the criticism and all those that were tearing him down, he completed this task. He completed this job, this mission, this duty that he was entrusted with, or he was assigned to complete. So for you and I, if we have a mission that we're seeking to accomplish and we accomplish it, or we achieve a certain thing, we get a little bit of pride, we get excited, we become happy, we become content in our environment, or we become content in that situation or comfortable in that situation, because the thing that we have worked so hard for, the thing that we gave our life to, the thing that we prepared and nurtured and watched grow from this small idea to something great and physical, or maybe even mental, conceptual, that we can see the results of our hard work. And this thing that we built over time, this thing that we worked over time, it was to help others. It wasn't just for our own personal benefit. It was to help others. It was to help those that maybe came after us, or maybe those that we're associated with, or maybe it was something that we built up from just a small idea that was going to help someone we didn't even know. And so this is that Noah concept, or that Noah principle, where we've put all of ourselves into this great effort. It may have been our job, or we accumulated enough money to where now we can take care of our family. It may have been our education, where we've accumulated enough knowledge that now we can go in and impart it on others so that they don't make the wrong decision, or so they can be better prepared to go through life. We spend all this time working on these things, day after day, hour after hour, struggling, sacrificing our time, sacrificing ourselves, sacrificing like Noah did. And these things that we work on, These things that we've built up, they were to be of benefit. They were to help someone. They were to make life easier. And the very people you expect to listen or even to help, they don't want any part in it. They don't want to have anything to do with what you've prepared. They don't want to have anything to do with what you work so hard for, with what you spent your time doing. You know, you show them the right way and they go in the opposite direction. And you think to yourself, you ask yourself, you say, what is it that I could have done better? What could I have done just to make them listen? So we beat ourselves up. We're disappointed. You know that what we have done, what we have worked so hard to build, would have benefited them. And so Noah, he built this ark. He spent this time, he built this ark. He took the criticism of his people, the struggle, the hard work, everything that he did to build this ark, to take in his family. And he asked God, he said, God, take care of my family. And God said, I'm going to take care of those, those believers. That's your family. And so after this ark was complete, after this stable place, after this great creation was built, the water began to rise. This stable place was built, and the turmoil came up, and the struggle came up, and it began pushing on the sides of this big, great creation, and it was holding fast. Everything that Noah invested in it was holding fast. And Noah looked into the distance on the mountain, and there he saw his son. He said, son, come on. My child, come on. And the son said, I'm going to go up on this mountain. I'm going to go up on this mountain because I'm going to be safe. The water's not going to come this high. Troubles won't reach me. I'm going to go up into this mountain. I'm going to go up into my own intellect. I'm going to go into my own thoughts, my own concerns. I'm not going to do it your way. I'm not going to take into consideration the experience that you have. I'm going to do it my own way. I'm going to go up to this mountain. And just as he said that, a wave came and washed his son away, washed Noah's son away. And Noah cried out to his Lord. He cried out to his creator. He said, I thought you said you were going to protect my family. And God said, I did. But your son was not of those who believed. And so as we go through life and we think about the things that we've worked hard for, and the things that we built up, and the things that we sacrificed to do for our loved ones, the things that we've sacrificed to do for others, and we don't get the respect we think we're deserving, or we don't get the grateful attitude that we think that we're deserving, and we feel bad and we're beating ourselves up and we're disappointed, that's when we have to imagine the look on Noah's face. At that very moment, that's when we share that same feeling. That same feeling of, I built all this up for you. I took my time and sacrificed for you. And we watch it all washed away. So we have a duty to ourselves, dear believers. We have a duty to our Creator to be the best that we can. And we have a duty to those that need our assistance. We have to fulfill our obligations. We don't want to beat ourselves up. You know, in the verse from the first half, it said that none of the people will believe except those who have believed already. And so even we have to be one of those people who believe, that believe we can do it. This idea of Noah's son, this principle of Noah's son, is not necessarily just someone else that we're talking to. Sometimes it's ourselves. Sometimes we step outside of the good training or the good practice or the good experiences that we already know to work. We sacrifice so much, and just at the whim, just as some new craze washes over us, we decide we're going to go off into our intellect and we're going to be okay. We move away from what God instructed us to do. We move away from the stability that the information from our Creator has given us, and we get washed away with the tide. Brothers and sisters, let's fulfill our obligations. Let's do our duty. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل أنت منا العظيم. إن الصلاة والنسك ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.